So I'm in the cavern. Sorry. What are these called, by the way, guys? These. What these are? Go get you. Go get a big one. I want one like the size of my face. Mm. Seriously, guys, work with these energies. That's all we have here, man. There's a lot more than what we have here out there. Like, work with what we have. Be all that you can be, like the army and shit. Like, find these things and do them. But dude, check this out real quick. This is real quickie. Quartz that I went Inner Earth Civilization. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but if you have, the gateway where I go in to work with K.I. Lusa Oyus and he's the local gatekeeper here. I stole something from his doorstep a couple months ago, and I'll show you. This is quartz I jacked from Slava Matia's doorstep. Two of them. It's the brother and the sister. Pure quartz. So, like, I work with these things, right? This is like his doorbell. I jacked his doorbell because he's a fucking punk like that. He's all crazy. I'll tell you about him another day. But we're talking about Mars right now. So what are we talking about? Propane and propane accessories. Okay. So I was on this like marble platform, like I was saying, and I go in there and it closes. I had no intention of turning around. Like, there's not fair second. I wasn't like about to punk out. And it went back a good 100 yards that I could see. Or two. No, it was more than that. Like 300 yards into this cavern. By the way, how can you see under there? Bioluminescence energy is just present. When you're there, even pretend, just say this for simplicity. How do you see under the surface of Mars if you don't got flashlights, right? Like, that's a Walmart question, right? For people that live in Ohio or something. You don't need it. It's there, but you have it. If you need to see something, you're going to see it. It's almost like it comes from you. Like, whatever you need to see, you're going to see. There's not really like a generator over there running lights anywhere. There is bioluminescence in certain cases, but it's just what you see. From a 3D perspective, it's probably fucking pitch black inside of a planet with no light, but where you need to see, it's bioluminescent. Okay, so that's Mars technology. It's moon technology. It's everywhere but here. They talk about the inner Earth civilization having a sun and shit. Bullshit. All that Agartha. Dude, I never even researched anything, but all that Agartha stuff, the inner Earth Agartha stuff, is fucking garbage that needs thrown out behind the local laundromat in that nasty dumpster. That's all junk. I'm letting you know. I will tell you absolutely everything about the inner Earth and the inner Mars and the inner Moon and interdimensionalism and energeticism, which is even a word here yet. It don't even make sense to me. Anyway, so I'm walking. I'm just like, oh, fucking finally have my thing here. Like, this is my toy. Like, I'm in this cavern walking. And yes, you walk. Like, I'm Justin Walker. I do this. I walk in the water. I'm walking just like I'm in water. The water there is like here. Yes. It's like hard to get through. You're walking. And and the patterns begin, the octopi begin showing themselves everywhere. There's a lot of them. And I had a specific guide that was an octopi. I'm going to try to go quick here. I'm sorry I had to rush this if I sound like it. But I had a guide. It reminded me of one of them things on Pac-Man. Think of Pac-Man. One of them like little things that chase you around. It was like that, but it was an actual octopus. And I had a specific guide that was working with me. As soon as I dove in, I mean, for life, for eons, I've always known him. It's like an aspect of myself. It's like my big brother, this octopi. You know what I mean? And but he's not funny or nothing. He's not telling me jokes. So I go in there, and there's a lot of them. I mean, I'm just like, ooh, this is deep. Like, this is some real shit. This is some real shit. I'll leave it at that right now. I go up a ways. I go up probably like close. I remember counting my steps because I thought there's a code. Okay, so the foundation I'm working on is not perfectly flat. There's chunks cut out here and there, and there's little walls to where I was guided right around little walls and little situations and different, and then it would be deeper. And then I'd go and I would be drawn to a certain energy on the cavern wall. So I go over there and there's a different situation, a little bit of a wall, whatever. And it was weird. And I didn't understand it at first. And I'll explain this shortly. I go up, I believe it was just right at 80 yards because I was trying to remember how many steps I took. And I was taking giant, I was sort of swimming as I took steps. I was taking like 1 yard steps on purpose because I knew there was a code in there. And I was going to bring back this code. And this is one of the codes that I put out to humanity to help. Not here, but like in a deeper depth thing, Like, I'm here to help. I'm not here to weird you out. I'm here to fucking fix this shit. But here, there's a woman, a white woman, and she looked like about a 45, 48-year-old Earth woman sitting there. And she wasn't ripped at all. She wasn't cut. She was healthy as fuck. She was a goddess. Damn. But I'm like 38, and I was like, oh wow, she was older than me by a chunk, like a phase of life. Let's say that she was a phase of life or so, plus a little bit more than me, a little bit older of a woman, sitting on a platform, but she was sitting there Indian style or so, and about half her butt was covered in water, and she was sitting there, and she was white, like me white, like white. She wasn't black like the others. He says, no, I'm their family. First thing she said, I'm family. So on Mars, sometimes you might be black as black, and then pop out a pure white Caucasian looking person. Like it's weird there. And when she's sitting there, and me and her had a chat. Meanwhile, I skipped a point. At this point, everywhere I look is fucking octopi. In the air, in the water, they're moving. They're not being chill. They're not hurting anything. But octopi. Translucent, God, octopi. I mean, you're just like lost in them. you could still see through them enough to navigate through the terrain that I was in. But you're in a world of fucking octopi, and they're not necessarily just in the water at all. Actually, they weren't. It was just like whew, you're walking through octopi, interdimensional octopi that are in the water and out of the water and half in the water and out, and it don't matter. And this woman's setting in this depth. The more deeper I went into the cavern, the more dense the octopi energy got. And she's sitting there by herself. She wasn't waiting for me. She was actually facing into the cavern. Like, sort of looking back. Like, when's someone gonna come help? Like, she made it that far. The white person out of the black family made it. She's the one that made it into the cavern to that point. And she's like, I can't move. She's like, I'm unable to go further. She's like, no one. She's like, this is the furthest anyone's ever been here. And, we did our thing. And, if this hurts any of you guys, I'm sorry. Like, I could understand this could actually hurt someone. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm not bullshitting you at all. I swear to God. Like, if this hurts you at all, I'm sorry. You know, that's why I left a post on Hot Sauce saying, like, if you don't want to know, and this is mellow. This is no details or technology being spilled. This is the basic. But anyway, if it hurts you, I do apologize. I did a pre-warning a couple times, like, just leave. Because this is none of your business if you could be hurt by it, you know what I mean? So this woman sitting there is white. Like she owns a coffee shop, white. You know? Not to be fucking silly, but... No, we have our moments. I should write a book on her. And the experience I had with her, like I had with the parents, that were just black. Not like earth black. Like the color black. She was the color white. And her parents were the two black ones. And she was older. And she wasn't ripped. She had a different job. Like how I have a different job. She had a different job than the family that swam down. She would just like probably... You know, I'm gonna leave shit out here. But, so, long story short, the octopi energy comes in, and they're like, it's time. Like, this is yours. And it is time. I went to leave her, the woman. I remember standing there in the thought of fear. Like, we spent a lot of time there, down in that cavern. And she said, there's nothing past this. We don't know what's past this. No one's ever made it. We don't know. We don't know anything beyond this. And I start going, and she goes, and that's where the programming of a horror movie came into play, because she just faded off, and she's like, you know, she said, you're the only one. You're the only one that could do this, you know what I mean? No one's ever made it this far besides me. No one's ever done this. And the programming of a horror movie from Earth sort of connected for me there. And the octopi. Okay, there's no current. And me and the octopi had a ceremony together. And from that point, I felt their energy pulling me deeper past that woman. Deeper into the cavern. I just went with it, of course. I flow. And, I remember it started pulling me as soon as I felt like, okay, it's really talking to me. And these octopi are pulling me past her. I dove in. And right as I dove in, I heard her, like, sort of she was getting loud. No, it was the biggest thing that's ever happened on Mars, is me diving into that water past her. The most extreme thing that's ever happened on Mars was me diving in the water mindlessly past her, and I felt the edge of her platform was cut off at 90 degrees, and just by my understanding, I knew it went deep right there. It got really deep. She was sitting on a platform that dropped off. We don't know how deep. I just knew it was deep. You could just tell. And she was hollering at me as I dove in. And she went into a ceremony. When I was under the water, I was just like, as far as I could swim underwater, like fast as I could, like a shark, into it deeper. It was like exceeding what the octopi wanted me to. And when I came up out of the water, I felt her energy in her ceremony. And here on Earth, you could have an orgasm, like I'm trying to think how this is, like a full like you bring it up, type it like. I'm not gonna go into it, but I mean like a godly but it wasn't an orgasm sexually, but energetically she had one. That was just the weirdest thing. Like, see, I should just write books on stuff and go into depth and explain the technology there, because I have that experience and understanding in full for everyone. But it wasn't like a sexual thing, but she was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's finally been done. Like, ever since Mars has been there, no one's went deeper, and she knew I was going to complete it. The journey through the cavern, and they've been working ever since their existence for someone to do something like that. And I just dove in, and she didn't say nothing about it the whole ceremony, but I just dove in and dug in, like, beyond the octopi. So that's some real shit. I just do that, and I'll do it. Fuck it. So that's what I'm doing. So now I'm swimming, and now the octopi took over. When I came out of the water, I didn't even move. The octopi were pulling me. I was overtaken by octopi. It wasn't a octopus. It was octopi energy. Interdimensional okay. And we go way up. We go like 200 yards up. And I feel that there's some type of platform coming energetically with all my senses that I have that people on Earth don't have. So I got ready for it. I didn't know what it was precisely. I didn't care. I was just experiencing my communication with the octopi. And through that like 200-yard drag where the octopi drugged me, I was waist deep in the water, and I was just like, and the octopi were just dragging me through the water like that. I was straight up in the air, like, and they're just pulling me, and it wasn't really slow. It was not slow, actually. It was probably as fast as I could run, or faster. And I was waist deep, and I was going through the water, and it was deep. Fucking shit, I'm really telling you guys about Mars. Let me take my socks off. I'm gonna get nasty. I got Aborigine in here. But no. And then all of a sudden I felt a platform was coming up at the end of the cavern. But then I realized the cavern actually went to the left. But from the outside, you wouldn't think it would go to the left. And then I realized it went down into a waterfall system. at the end of the cavern. Like when you're outside of it at the pond, it looked like a mountain. But at the corner of that mountain, it went into a waterfall underground. And you're already underground. And then Mars is just filled with waterfall caverns that go deeper and deeper, and different entities own different spaces. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There's nothing like it here. There's nothing even. Like I was saying, the most ghetto thing on Mars is like the most spectacular thing on Earth, divided by 100 magnitudes or something. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So I get up there and I'm working with them, and the octopi are just like, thank you. Thank you. I was like, we'll talk about it after the sex, you know? I mean, like, let's just do this shit. Okay, so I go down the waterfall into a deeper space. And I'm not going to lie to you. It got so intense I sort of blacked out. I would really have to spend a lot of time. I would have to have a sponsor to really spend the time to pull all the technology I got back from dropping through that. It wasn't a waterfall. It wasn't a little waterfall. It was a huge waterfall. And it went on and on and on. Like close to 1,000 times deep, and everyone was a deeper depth. But I mean, just like the waterfall technology above the one I was at after I went down one, the next one was so advanced to the one above it, it almost had nothing to do with the one above it. And you do that like 1,000 times with just octopi being with you, and after a while you're just not, like, water, being in water and falling doesn't even, what did you even say? Like, what do you even say? What do you even say? Like, how would I say this to a humanoid? Like, a human, like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I got all the technology from there. I have no reason to even pull it back here because no one's even ready for it. Like, I got technology. And octopi just brought me through that. I was flying most of the time, if that makes sense. And I was in waters I needed, and the technology is just like it. Ugh, fuck. Like, no one's ever done anything like that. For me, I didn't black out, but it tested me. And I want to backtrack because the most important thing about this is right after that woman, the white woman, near the entrance of that cavern when I first got in it, when I dove in, I surfaced and they took me over. My guide, my octopi guide, came in front of me, and he's just like, he looks just like me. I don't know if this makes sense. He's just like, you know what I mean? And he's just in front of me, dude. So fun. I love it. Like, I want to do it again. It was like it was like an amusement park ride to me. But like to the layman, man, you would go into it, you would blow your brains out. You'd go buy a cheap gun and blow your brains out if you ever experienced something this depthful, because you'd never come back from it probably. But like, I want to go do it again. Actually, I'm going to. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go back there and pick up where I left off, and go even deeper into different things. But and help. I'm there to help them. I'm here to help you guys. Just the same. Like, if anything ever happens to Earth, we are going to Mars. Just so you know, we're going to be split into Venus and Mars, and we're going to go to Mars and Venus. I would be more comfortable on either one of them places. Like, no one has ever been read the Bible of Venus but me. I'm the only one. Like, that's a whole other thing, right? Venus. Some of you guys know about my trip to Venus because I've vented on you. Like Rob and I think Debbie knows about. I think Rob knows about my Venus shit. That shit was real, wasn't it? Like, I told you guys about that shit, right? The bridge, right here on my property. Remember, guys, when I went to Venus that one time and I fucking blacked out and Jesus brought me back here and they revived me? Like, I'm talking about blacking out from shit. But you don't black out. But, I mean, there's no way a human could even put some of this shit into words. It is just a blackout of, like, technology to humans. Like, using my human shit. I can't tell you. I'll call that a blackout. There's just no way. None of it would make any sense, and there's no way to even explain it in human words. But I'll call that a blackout. But I'm not blacking out. But there's just no way to even scratch the surface about anything about any of it, like technology. And I have it. And I use it, but I can't explain it. And I pull this stuff back for us. And when we all end up getting there someday, eventually we will. Not in this lifetime, but I mean, like, we'll get there. And then, if something ever happens, we're just gonna bloop, be there. I'll put y'all in my ship and I'll take you off or something, whatever it is. Whatever has to happen will happen. But, so I go through this whole shit in Mars. I go through the whole cavern and I come out. I go through the whole cavern and I surface through the center of that pond that I originally approached where the police were and that family was barely in. I bubbled up through the center of the dead center of it. I bubbled up from it, and it instantly closed. I came up through, like, say, the mud. It was basically just like on Earth, like mud. Like, I came up through it, bloop, out of the ground, out of the bottom of that whole amusement park ride, octopi thing. I came up, and when I came through the mud pulled back down due to gravity and just closed. And closed. I came out, and it was like, have I got a motherfucking story for you guys? Not only that, but like energetically on all the senses that I have, they just knew. And I'm gonna stop there, but long story short, I sat on the beach and we did I'll call it a ceremony. But I just shared my energy with them. And they couldn't even get close to me for a little bit. They wanted to, and I welcomed them, but they were literally unable to get close enough to me to even, like, physically connect with me because of the energy that I pulled back and the technology that I owned when I sat on the beach. That family that owned the octopi workings of Mars, the terrestrial species on Mars, that family there, they couldn't even get close to me because of the technology that was radiating off of me, and I have it all right here for you guys. But no one here has any idea how to do with it. Has any idea how to do anything with any of that technology? And I'm going to go in very, very, very disgusting, gross, barf on yourself details about it. And spill the beans. But in short, if you just want a little, if you want some of that, That's just spicy. I got a lot of hot sauce for y'all. You know what I'm talking about. I love you. If any of this hurt you in any way, I apologize. And I saved out all the details and the technology just to save any potential harm from anyone, and we're gonna go from here. I said I have stuff about Venus. I have stuff about the inner Earth, the moon. That's the sickest thing. That's the very last thing I'll ever expose anyone to is the moon. Ugh. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about the moon. I swear to God, when I think about the moon, I almost fucking throw up. It's that bad there, guys. But here's a real quick tip. We can't 3D. We can't bring our 3D right now bodies. I'm not 3D, but I mean like 3D people cannot bring their bodies off of Earth because the demonic realms there are so powerful you would just die. Even on Mars, which is even Venus, literally, you can't go there or you will die due to spiritual aspects. You'll go into shock. Say if you smoke cigarettes for like years and then you stop, you're gonna like be fucked up. Like you're gonna go through this, like it's gonna shock you. Imagine if you like never ate food again and never drink water. Or did anything. You never watched TV. You never had a phone again. You never did anything. You never wore clothes again. And you just, bloop, you're there. You would die. That's not even including the spiritual aspects of beautiful heavens like Mars and Venus. But like the moon. Ooh. The moon. A soul entity cannot even go to the moon now. It's that bad because you cannot have a soul and go to the moon anymore. It's that bad. Demonically. So we can't leave here until we ascend. Like, I'm trying to help people fucking ascend in case something happens here and we gotta take off. And I literally come pick you up and we take off, right? Not to sound cheesy or stupid, but like, seriously. I need to get you guys ready to leave here in some form, shape, or manner. Right? Sort of. Right? Sort of. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to help people out. But, like, you can't just leave here and go to Mars. You'd get there and just heart attack out. Like, oh. I'm not allowed to hurt people like that. So I'm trying to ease people into reality here. We got a lot going on. Anyway, I love you. I'm sorry. Long story short, I'm sorry if I hurt you. I'm sorry I gave you a very vague description of technologies and details that are there, but ooh, I got that hot sauce. I promise you. I got what you want.